Well, here's my big question for you. So we've talked about
Yeah,
pretty much everything. So, Nathan, somebody moving to Hanoi,
yeah,
when you consider everything, when you're looking at a rent, you got to pay rent
yeah,
for a comfortable place, you got to pay groceries, entertainment, utilities, it sounds like is included in most of the places you stay there. But if you put it all together, what can somebody live on in Hanoi?
I'd say 500. I'd say 500,
So
4 to
somebody can
500
so somebody
solid.
can live for $500 a month with everything in Hanoi.
Yeah.
Right. So today we're heading over to Hanoi, Vietnam with my new pal, Nathan Padayachee. Nathan, thank you so
Yeah,
much
what's
for
up?
doing
What's
this,
up?
man. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. It's such a new experience for me.
Yeah.
I've never
Well,
done this and it's so fun.
you're living
So excited.
you're hey man, you're living a unique life. And I always think that there's a very few people that choose to jump out of their comfort zone and from their own country
Yeah.
and go live somewhere else. And you're a heck of a way from where you originate from. I mean, you're a distance, man. You're
Yeah,
so
8,000 kilometers.
yeah, man. So Nathan, just give us a little bit of backstory about, you and how you chose Hanoi. Tell us where you're from and how you found your way over to Vietnam.
I'll try to sum it up. Uh, so I come from a very small back road farm town called Dundee in the heart of KwaZulu-Natal. It's between it's in a valley, okay? And I grew up very poor, with little to nothing. Not many people experience the same kind of lifestyle in South Africa, but I experienced poverty, struggle, the works. So opportunities, as you might guess, are not so easily presented to someone who lives so far in the bush somewhere, right? You have to go to big cities and things like that to get noticed.
How far were
I was lucky
Nathan?
in,
How far
yeah.
were you from Johannesburg?
It takes about 6 hours driving
Okay.
up up to north of South Africa
Okay.
towards to Johannesburg CBD, and it's quite a distance. It's really far. So it's really it's out in the sticks.
Yeah.
It's dusty roads, and it's some roads are
Wow.
just gravel roads. It's farmland. It's where the farmers. It's really in the back,
Yeah, yeah.
and so I had mates. I was always lucky enough that even though I was poor, I made friends with a lot of wealthy kids, really good mates. We were close, and they were in Thailand. They had money, so they could do all these things. They were in Thailand teaching, and they knew about me. And I would always chat to them, and they just dropped it on me like, "Hey, we out here, and it's going really good in Asia. You should give it a try if you ever get the chance." At the time, it was super easy to get in, right? That's what a lot of foreigners did. They just get visas and come over with their certificates and degrees and whatever, and it get jobs. So that's what I did. I went with them. Things didn't work out so well between me and them in the end, and a lot of bad things went down between me and them. If you need details, you can ask. I don't mind to tell. But yeah, long story short, came to Hanoi, started. I had to restart because when I came here with them, I was living with them in their apartment. So obviously over time it becomes awkward. And we split. I'm on my own. I don't know what to do. I still luckily had a job, but I was getting ripped off. I was getting massively ripped off by the companies. So moved out and started from scratch, from nothing. Had a love life with a Vietnamese girl, and we moved into a university dormitory where I started living the real, true, authentic Vietnamese way. You could get by with just 2 million. Some apartments go for less than 2 million VND a month. They go for 1 million, 1.5, depends on what you want.
So break that down in
And
USD. What is that? 2 million VND to USD.
2 million VND is about 81 dollars a month.
So you can get an apartment
Um,
over in Vietnam, in Hanoi, Vietnam,
a
for
very,
81 bucks.
very, a very simple, rudimentary room built with everything you need in it. Like a bathroom, it's in there. A shower, it's in there. The one I had didn't even have a shower. So I luckily worked for a boss who saw that and was like, no, we're gonna kit you out. We're gonna get all the stuff you need. Everything's in the room. The kitchen, it's 5 by 5 meters. It's really tiny, but it works for a couple, just two people. It works.
Mm-hmm.
I stayed amongst the university students. So that was great. I watched them. They got by with even less. Like between two people, they could do 2, 3 million. So that's like 1.5 million each. Um, it's really not a lot, and you could get by really cheap. Over time, separated from her, moved, stayed with a mate. My mate came from New Zealand, and we both moved into a nice place together. We lived in a coffee shop above a coffee shop. Coffee shop at the bottom, little apartment at the top. It's actually one house. A lot of Vietnamese people do that.
Mm-hmm.
They have buy a big house, and at the bottom they own a business and live at the top. So everything's in one building. And luckily with this one, we paid super cheap. I think we paid for 2 rooms and a bathroom. Actually, we paid for the whole top floor. We paid about 4 million, 4 or 5 million. That's about $200 between two people. So that's 100 each.
In that, okay, so you shared a house, or was it a two
Yeah, you
bedroom
could
or a one?
say.
Would you say a two
No, no,
bedroom?
no. This thing had a couple of floors. This
Okay,
one
so you
was
had a
in a
couple of
smaller city.
floors.
A floor. So like we have the first floor at the bottom, which is the coffee shop itself. Second floor is where we lived. Each had a room and a bathroom.
Okay.
And then on top of that, above that, we still had a whole top floor and the balcony. So a few years go by, I meet my now wife. I meet online by chance, pure destiny and luck. We meet online, we meet up, and we hit it off immediately. She originally came from that smaller city and moved to Hanoi before me, way many
Is
years.
she Vietnamese?
Yes, she is Vietnamese, yeah. And she now lived in Hanoi, and I lived in Thanh Hoa City. Thanh Hoa City is about 3 hours south
Okay.
of Hanoi, right? So I lived 3 hours away, and I would visit her on the weekends, leaving directly after work, which is like 9, 10 p.m. So I'd leave around 11. I would drive in the middle of the night, racing on the road, 3 hours to Hanoi, get there at 1 a.m., hang out with her, and we just got closer and closer. Eventually, I said, let me move in with you. I plan to leave this small town, this small city. I want to get out and live with you. We lived in a smaller room. That's where she lived. And we, between the both of us, we paid 2 million. I paid for food and she paid for the rent.
Wow. So
I
again,
was
that two
down
2 million VND is about 81 bucks.
81 bucks. Yeah, 81 bucks. So in total, let's do, we could say 4 million. That's about $163.23.
And that was for
With
that
two people, everything.
everything. That's the utilities and everything.
You got it. We talking gas for the bikes because we obviously in Vietnam you can't really because it's a thing. You drive motorbikes as there's limited space on the roads. More
Hmm.
people are buying cars now, but back then bikes were the thing, and they still are. But yeah, that's $163 between two people. We're talking utilities, we're talking rent, electricity, water, food, and a little bit of entertainment, which we didn't do at the time because, of course, we're still starting.
Mm-hmm. Now, let me
And
ask you this. When you're talking about the $163 flat, is that outside of Hanoi or in Hanoi?
in the heart of the hustle and bustle, in the
That's where you're
concrete
currently
jungle, as
living
they
right
say.
now. That's where you're living now.
No, no, no.
No.
Now
Okay.
I've moved up. Now I've upgraded way beyond that. I'm saying that was me at rock bottom learning as a kid. I came here when I was 19.
Okay,
Came in as
gotcha.
19 years old.
Okay, I'm tracking now. Okay. All right. So
I was
so
19 when I came to Vietnam.
what do you guys pay now for a place?
You want to take a guess? You're gonna laugh at me. Take a
I'm
guess.
gonna
You're gonna
say
laugh at me.
I'm gonna say you guys moved up. You got a little bigger place, little space. To say 250 USD.
Now you're gonna take 250 USD and you're gonna minus all of it. I pay nothing.
Okay.
I pay nothing,
So how do
my
you
good
that now?
sir.
So the viewers are now like are very
What? How's
interested.
that possible? Of course they would be, because like how's this 19-year-old kid worked himself so far up the chain that I have managed to buy myself a house and two lands from nothing. I started
Wow.
with getting ripped off. I was getting underpaid. I was getting scammed. I was one of the teachers that was taken advantage of multiple times and had to start again and start again. And I just kept going and I didn't give up. Now I've bought a house in a place called Vinhomes Smart City. For those of the viewers that don't know, in Vietnam, there is a massive company, a giant called Vin Group. So the Vin Smart City is like a miniature city outside of the CBD, which is what Vietnam is currently doing because I think there's a lack of space. So what they're doing is expanding.
Okay.
So from city to metropolis. They've set up these miniature cities all around the outskirts of the city, and people who have the money can buy them before the construction even begins.
So these are little communities that are starting to take hold outside of Hanoi.
Yeah,
And
just it's not that far outside. We're talking 1 or 2 kilometers. It's not far. It's
okay,
really
so
on the outskirts.
you could actually ride your bike or
I
walk
do every day.
into Hanoi from these
Uh,
locations.
10-minute drive, 15 minutes drive. There we go. And
So
I'm in the city.
help the viewers understand, with these real estate options. You purchased a property. How easy is that to do in Vietnam?
For foreigners, you are not legally allowed to own the land,
Correct. Yeah.
but yeah, according to the law, you're not allowed to own as a foreigner, own the land itself. You can, however, buy property and lease it for 50 years. It goes for the land too. You can lease the land, you're not allowed to own it. So I obviously, that was my first hurdle, is that's where I wanted to get in. I thought I'm married to my wife, which places a massive amount of trust on her. And because I married her, it's all with her. It's all in her name.
Yes.
I'm just the money machine. I just crank out the paper and I allow her to. I obviously choose where to invest. She just helps me make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's how we do it,
Okay.
and that's how I managed to purchase
How much is the real
through
estate
her.
over there? How much did you buy it for?
The going price was 2 billion.
And so what is that
To
in USD?
In USD, that's $81,616.
Okay. And how big is your place?
2 bedrooms. It's because it's in an apartment block, so it's like basically an apartment.
Okay.
2 bedrooms, one bathroom, living room, kitchen, open plan. I've got a laundry balcony for the laundry, and I've got a second balcony for the front for entertainment. I can have little barbecues. I can, and I furnished the whole place myself.
So you
So
bought this place for 81,000. It's brand new. They just built
brand
it.
new, man.
Okay.
Uh, Actually, we bought it before it was built. The building was still in construction, and they began to sell them before.
No, are they filled, Nate? Are they all filled
Now,
up or
they are now, and they are filling up fast. And there are
okay.
so many blocks. It's amazing. If I'll send you some pictures.
Does does
Um,
real estate increase over there? I mean, could you sell it for
yes, yes, I
more
could.
than you purchased it
Well,
for?
in terms of property like this, I'm not exactly sure, but I do know that land appreciates.
Okay.
So let's say I buy a piece of land for 500 million, it will double every year.
Okay. Gotcha. And you
Uh,
and and
so
and
I, uh,
you can actually do that because you're married to a Vietnamese woman.
correct.
So
The
you
same
definitely have
way,
to be connected with the Vietnamese culture, or you got to be married to
yes,
be able to own the land.
spot
Yeah.
on right there. It's the
Okay.
door. It's the door. The moment you know, so it's especially here. What I've learned is like it's not really about what you know, but who you know.
Sure.
Contacts are a big thing, especially amongst the Vietnamese people.
Okay.
Contacts are huge.
So what do
So
you
I
let's
own two plots of land done.
you so you have two plots of land.
Yeah,
Good for
in
you.
different cities.
Good for you.
Yeah,
You're a
it's
smart
hard
you're a
work. It's
smart
not no
guy.
luck or anything. I worked and I studied Vietnamese people, uh, uh, every aspect of the way they thought, walked, talked. I
Yeah.
watched them.
Well,
I
you
learned.
know what, Nathan? You're one of those guys that you're literally a Vietnamese guy. You're Vietnamese now. You've immersed yourself in the
Thanks.
culture. Well, you are.
I
You're
try.
one of those guys that goes over to a different country. You love it enough. You love it to the point where you want to immerse yourself into it. You love the people, you love the culture, you love the food, and you become it. And
Yes,
that's what
adapt.
hun- yeah, and that's what countries really want to see. If people come over, they really want to see that effort of individual really immersing themselves in the culture, and you have. And that's
Correct.
pretty
The
awesome.
thing is,
And when you do that, you do reap the rewards of a country because they love people like you that come there and really truly acclimate
mm,
to the culture. So it's pretty awesome.
for me at the beginning it was I had no choice, right? As you know, poverty, it's your back is against the wall the whole time.
Yeah.
So for me, it was I had one shot. All of, like I said, the details would astound you about the journey. Like everyone's always, whenever I tell people, I don't usually like it, but when I do, people are astounded of the path I walked, and they would say it's like pure destiny that all of this has occurred. It really was a one-shot thing. I had no way of going back. It was pure chance. And when I look back now, I just think I'm so grateful. First, I'm grateful, thankful for how far I've come. And I'm grateful for being here and for them accepting me because they are very accepting once they see that you put effort in. The moment they see that you become arrogant or you're not really willing to learn, they do cast you out. They do help, but they distance themselves from you a little bit. I think every country would be like that too.
Yeah,
If they
I
see
think
you're
so.
not willing to, then they also back away from you as well.
Yeah.
And for me, um, the land thing was a smart move, I think, as well, because I knew that there are ways to make secure money and then ways to make like not secure money.
Hmm.
And I thought to myself, well, I don't want to work forever. And like you, you're just doing this for fun. I want to be where you are. I also want to do things like that for fun. So I do plan on retiring at a very young age.
Yeah.
At 35,
Yeah. Well, good for
I'll be
you, man.
done.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, let's dive into some of these other costs. Let's just kind of recap on what we talked about with flat rentals in Hanoi. So you're talking about you
Yeah.
can get a room, you can get a nice, comfortable studio room for 81 bucks. And then if you
I
go
wouldn't
up,
say, yeah, I wouldn't say it would be comfortable. I want to clarify
okay,
that it's really what you're willing to adapt to. Like I said, a lot of foreigners come with that. I want comfort, so they pay higher prices. For me, I was willing to accept a standard room. You could have given me a room with nothing in it, and I would have built it into something, which is what I did with every
okay,
place I stayed. I made it comfortable on budget, and it worked. I paid, if I'm remembering correctly, with the 81 bucks, like you said, between two people, we made a nice bed, we made a kitchen, we really did work on it together, and we did it for all under 5 million. That's $204
that's
exactly.
great. So talking about a comfortable flat in Hanoi, like a one bedroom
Fully furnished.
or a two
Yeah, if you're
bedroom,
talking about a
what,
fully
yeah, what are we talking in price for a comfortable one bedroom and two bedroom in Hanoi?
from 3 to 5 is where we
300 to
begin.
500.
That's where your bracket begins. Fully
Okay.
furnished, you've got bed, kitchen, what utensils, all that stuff, all included. It's
Okay.
3 to 500, and then depends on whatever else you want.
Yeah, yeah.
So around about 600 and 700. Like I said, you can do it way less. Like I've seen guys that come off, they pay 200, and then for the house utilities and everything, and then they still spend 200 a month for entertainment. That's we're talking cinemas, restaurants, clubs, beer hoist. A beer hoist is a super cheap way to enjoy a beer and still have the pho that you told me you love so much. The Vietnamese pho. You get it super cheap, dude. It's really cheap.
How much is a bowl of pho
Yeah,
in
so
Hanoi?
that would come around to $1.22.
It's a good deal, man.
Oh, it's a good deal, man. You throw in a beer, let's make it $2. Done.
Yeah, man. That's
Sometimes they bring you like 5 liters of beer. 5 liters. I don't know how many ounces that is. Let me tell you, it's a lot of beer. So dudes come there with gas canisters, like a gas jug.
yeah.
We're talking like 5 liters of this thing, and they just plonk it down on your table, and they're like, "Have at it." They just give you beers. They give you cups with ice in it. The ice is free, of course. Cups are free. You just chug cold beer all night.
That's
Have
that is
fun,
awesome.
drink with your buddies.
How much do you think you
I've seen a
budget
lot of
for
dudes.
restaurant and entertainment a month? You yourself.
Me myself, okay, now that I've obviously stepped up in life, I've definitely it's increased. I would say I like to spend about $100 in a
Okay.
month.
And can you how do you when you think about $100 a month on a budget for entertainment restaurants, can you live large? I mean, can you do a lot of things with $100 in Hanoi?
Yes, you can actually. $100 is equivalent to 2,450,000 VND. That's like an entire salary for a Vietnamese local.
Nice. So if you just
Okay.
buy groceries to cook at home, how much do you think you'd pay? Just is it 4 million or
Yeah, 3.5.
3.5? Okay.
3.5. So that's 3,500,000.
Okay. And then I'm looking at about, you said about 100 USD in restaurant entertainment. Is that about it?
Yep.
So is Hanoi a walkable city? People always want to know, how do you get around? What's the public transportation like? Do they have ride share
Oh,
like Uber
yes.
or,
Oh, Uber is like Uber is like a very because I come from a westernized country, which is South Africa and Africa. So it's near the West, right? We get news from America, culture from America, we learn. I can say that in the West, the ride sharing apps and such are very limited. Like they just have Uber, I saw Lyft, and those are the only two I know.
Mhm.
Here, there are like they've got Grab, they've got there's like 4 or 5 different ones, but Grab is the main one.
Grab.
They've got B,
Grab.
Grab.
Okay.
Yep, GRAB. It's a green app. Mate, you can order anything from food to groceries from the supermarket. You can get cars, buses. I mean, not buses, just like a bigger cars that can seat more people. Imagine like a minivan type deal.
Yeah.
There's almost 10 options of your transportation system. Grab Bike Plus, which is a fast scooter, 61K. Grab Bike, which is a general bike, a general normal bike, 53K.
Okay. Wow.
Okay, that's even cheaper. Then we're talking car, 4-seater, 108K. Then we've got Grab Car Plus, which is 4 or more seater, 127K.
Okay.
That's just 10Ks. And obviously it can keep climbing.
How about
And you've got, and
Metro?
then public transport. The Metro, it's cheap, but it's not really it's well known, but a lot of people don't really use it.
Everybody wants
Yeah.
to know about healthcare that moves over there. What do you do for healthcare? I hear there's like private healthcare that isn't really that cheap in Vietnam for expats.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. For us, they do charge us more. They do charge us
Yes.
a bit more. For Vietnamese nationals, it's significantly cheaper. Um, if my memory serves, some expats pay up to 5 million a month, depending on the health cover you want. But obviously, if I'm saying up to 5, I'm thinking of the highest,
Right.
right? I'm trying to think of the highest. Obviously, I think the lowest must be like 1.5, 2 million for
Okay.
expats.
Well, here's my big question for you. So we've talked about pretty much everything. So, Nathan, somebody moving to Hanoi,
Yeah,
when you consider everything, when you're looking at a rent, you got to pay rent
yeah.
for a comfortable place, you got to pay groceries, entertainment, utilities, it sounds like is included in most of the places you stay there. But if you put it all together, what can somebody live on in Hanoi?
I'd say 500. I'd say 500,
So
4 to
somebody can
500
so somebody
solid.
can live for $500 a month with everything in Hanoi.
Yeah, yeah. If you're really smart with your money and you learn 2 or 3 phrases of the local language, learn your little local market, learn which grandma sells the best meat, which grandma sells, which local auntie sells the best vegetables. Man, it's gonna drop. It's
Okay,
gonna
let me
drop a
ask you
lot.
this. Here's my
So
next question.
500.
Okay, so 500, that's just getting by. How can how much can somebody live on in Hanoi comfortably? I mean, you have fun,
Oh,
entertainment, but you got a comfortable apartment. Um, how much can you do it for?
comfortably, I'd say 6. I'd just say 6. 6
Six
is the best
hundred
for me. Like
dollars. Six
for
hundred
me, for me,
dollars.
I don't like to speak
Wow.
for everyone, but for me, I could do it 6. I could. I know that I could do it with 600 easily.
So
Like if you
so
wipe
Nathan,
this house.
anybody with $800 or $1,000 a month, you're saying
You're
they could
rich.
live like they could live large in Hanoi.
You could. If you have no other expenses, let's say now you're a retiree, you've got money that generates, and you've got 1,000 that's yours.
Yes.
Got 500 for the rent and utilities and food and whatever. 500 for everything else.
Well, that's everything, Nathan. Is there anything else you can think of that would be beneficial for the viewers that we didn't discuss about Hanoi that would be helpful for them to
I would
know?
definitely say I could just say a couple of phrases that would be super helpful. I
Okay.
think in letting them recognize that, hey, this person actually is trying. It's not about how much Vietnamese you know, it's about the effort. They want to see effort. Imagine that you were wiped out and now you're building back up. You give everything to the Westerners that come. You try to make them super comfortable, you're polite to them, and they don't even try. And they see you as beneath. I'm not saying that the people do, but I've witnessed some cases where sometimes they're not treated as the same.
Yeah.
And that broke my heart. I said, that's unfair. So I would say the first one is learn how to say hello. Xin chào.
Xin chào.
Simple. Xin chào. The next one would be tambiet, which is goodbye. Tambiet, which is goodbye. Tambiet.
How do you say thank you in Vietnamese?
Cảm cảm ơn. Cảm ơn.
Cảm ơn.
Cảm ơn.
Cảm ơn.
So spelled CAM. So CAM as in monkey, and then ON as in like on. Cảm ơn. But instead of saying on, you're
It's
saying ơn. Yeah.
Cảm
Cảm
ơn.
ơn.
Cảm ơn.
Perfect.
Cảm
Yeah.
ơn.
Good pronunciation. I mean, I'm not the best. My pronunciation sucks. They tell me all the time. They'll let you know.
I work at it, man. I work at it. I got the Padayachee right. I got the Padayachee right, man.
Yeah, that's no one uses my surname because no one can say it. But I give you the right.
This has been great. Thank you so much for taking time out of your evening to share all this information about Hanoi. You're living the dream, buddy, and I'm really happy to hear your story, and I'm happy to hear about all your success. And let's do something like this again in the future.
I have no objection. Yeah, this is really fun. My first podcast. It's so great talking.
Well, yeah, it's a pleasure, man.
I hope to share more about this place ins and outs.
All right.
Tricks of the trade.
Well, you have a great rest of the evening, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks so much, man.